Morning guys, it's now 6 AM in the morning. I do the introduction in bed because it's just way too cold. I couldn't even recharge my phone because the battery was dying all the time because of the cold. I'm gonna fresh myself up, we're going down, we have breakfast. Only thing I know is that we go to a mausoleum today, so we have to dress up formally. Ready for day 2, here we go.
Alright guys, so what you see here is our breakfast in Yanggakdo Hotel. It was a Korean buffet adjusted to the taste of foreigners, I believe. The food was not too bad, but it wasn't special either. And throughout the whole tour, they really fed us well, which sometimes felt weird knowing that food is scarce for many North Koreans in wintertime. Here you can see me dressed up formally, because later we go to one of the most sacred places in North Korea, the Palace of the Sun. And the elevator was sometimes so slow that it took us almost 10 to 15 minutes to get up or down, especially in morning rush hour. But once up, you could have an amazing view over Pyongyang. So now we are on our way to Kumsusan Palace of the Sun, which is now a mausoleum where both President Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il's embalmed bodies lie in state. So you can imagine this place is extremely important for the North Koreans. It is not allowed to bring in anything except for one tissue or handkerchief. First thing I noticed was that when the North Koreans refer to the leaders, they have to mention their titles. So it will be President Kim Il-sung, General Kim Jong-il, and for current leader, Supreme Kim Jong-un.
Okay guys, so we're now at the Palace of the Sun. We're now allowed to film and take pictures outside a little bit. It's quite cold but really sunny. It's super clean and people keep cleaning here in the blue suits. I don't know if you can see them. It's quite windy, a lot of military, and people pay their respect here. And even I saw them crying when they walked out.
I realized that was also the reason why we were allowed to bring only one tissue or handkerchief. And once inside, we had to follow a long series of travelators on which we were not allowed to walk. Along the way, we could see many portraits and pictures of the leaders. We had to talk quietly and we were not allowed to lean on the travelators, act funny, point with fingers or hold our hands on our back. We were expected to bow a total of 7 times, first in front of the statues of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il in rows of 4. After that 3 times at the embalmed body of Kim Il-sung, first at the feet, then its left and lastly at his right. We did the same at Kim Jong-il's body. It was impressive to see the bodies of these 2 leaders within hand reach, and the place was just stunning beautiful, I must say. Although the first mistake I already made was pointing my finger at Kim Il-sung's painting. I guess rules make me nervous sometimes. As we arrived at the Mansudae Grand Monuments, we again had to show our respect by bowing 1 time in front of the 22-meter tall bronze statues of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il. Also here, you have to be careful when taking pictures of the leaders. The whole statue must be in frame. And this is definitely a sacred place for all people all around the DPRK, because in the short time we were there, we saw many North Koreans paying their respect. Next up is Kim Il-sung Square. This is a square where they hold the military parades and mass rallies that are often featured in the media concerning North Korea. It was kinda weird to walk here myself now. And the white dots you see on the ground tell exactly where people need to stand during these big events. And there were thousands of them. You could see them everywhere, even on the road. So by the time we were there, you could see a lot of people working on the square. So they were all preparing the Ice Sculpture Festival and the first New Year's Eve concert that you will see in the next episode. For this concert there will be a special performance, for the first time ever. So next they brought us to the foreign bookstore with lots of propaganda books translated to English. It was actually not allowed to film inside, but I managed to film a little bit. After that we walked back, and when we were waiting in the bus I saw a married couple taking wedding photos outside. I jumped out of the bus to ask them for a picture, and apparently it brings luck for both of us, so the photographer was happy to allow me. These were the moments I could get in contact with strangers, but it would have never happened if I stayed well in the bus.
What?
이거 가는데 사님은 가는데 아니 자기네끼리 찍었으니까 그거 뽑아서 자기네 찍었으니까
고맙습니다. 안녕히 가십시오.
And now it was finally time to eat the famous Pyongyang ramen. People say you haven't been in Pyongyang if you didn't eat these noodles. So we went to Ongryugwan restaurant where they have the best ramen of Pyongyang. Inside many Koreans were waiting for the food, but unfortunately they put us in a separate room as expected. I remember the floor manager was nervous about me filming inside, so I couldn't film more than this. So once in our room we started with a small pancake, gogi nokdujeon, and after that we could finally start with the cold noodles. I found them very delicious and fresh, and compared to the South Korean version it was less sweet. Usually I'm not a big fan of cold noodles, but I had no problems with this version, so I guess 1 point for North Korea. So the stars you see in the trolley bus, they show how many safe kilometers the bus has traveled. Each star is earned after 50,000 kilometers. And the building you see in the back is the Arc of Triumph. And this construction is a little bit bigger than its counterpart in Paris. It was built to honor President Kim Il-sung's role in the military resistance for Korean independence. I remember that at this point I really had to go to the bathroom. I was surprised what I saw inside. There was no electricity, it was dirty, smelly, and there was lots of water on the ground. I guess the toilet was not meant to be seen by tourists. And now we enter the port city of Nampo, where we will see the West Sea Barrage. It's an 8-kilometer long seawall, closing the Taedong River off from the Yellow Sea to prevent floodings. It was finished in 1986 and the blueprints were made by no one else than Kim Il-sung. And through this port, North Korea often received foreign food aid. So what happened here was our first power cut, while we were watching a video about the West Sea Barrage. The electricity was gone for about 5 minutes. But nobody was surprised because we were already warned that power cuts are very common in North Korea. So after Nampo, we drove back to our hotel in Pyongyang. You can see how dark the roads are in the night. It was hard to see the people crossing the road sometimes. And I asked the guides if there are a lot of traffic accidents, and of course she said that almost never happens. So once back in Pyongyang, they served us hamburgers for dinner. I rather had some local Korean food, but unfortunately there were no other options. After dinner, we had our last soju of the day at the diplomatic club.
평양 소주?
평양 소주.
어때? 맛있어요? 맛있어요? 야?
야, 이거 10년. 10years.
오래
있었어.
야. 오래 소주 더 맛있어요?
또 맛있어요? 아니에요? 맞는가?
한 잔 할 수 있어요? 한 병만.
한 병만. 예.
한 병만 얼마예요?
한 병만.
그러니까 하나 주세요.
하나. 예.
네.
Wat kan je ons aanraden?
소주. 잠시만요.
Okay guys, I'm gonna do a quick outro. We just came back to the hotel. I had a few nice moments. I went on a picture with just a married couple. They were walking at the Kim Il-sung Square. I approached them and I asked them to take a picture and they were fine with that. I talked to a few other people, you know. I had a look into the kitchen of a restaurant because I just asked for it. When you ask things in Korean, I think you have a bigger opportunity to see more things. Yeah, that's it for now. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Adios.